So here we go again. Actually, it's kind of narrow. I meant for it to be wide. Look in here to see what I got. Test, test, test. You go up a little bit louder. I guess now test, test, test. Testing the audio. So again, I use a lot of magnesium, so the legs are a little bit, softer than they normally would be. Right? But it's feeling like as my back releases from that the legs are a little bit too weepy to really just go with this. Now, they could use corticosteroid, get soft and then it, rebounds firming, lightly firming. Hang on a sec, I'll be back. For whatever it's worth, if this is what I was trying to get to in Amarillo, right, and in Tyler, I guess, if I could have got to this, I definitely, if this is what the condition was, it may have actually healed better, but if this was the condition, I would have opted for surgery. Right. Well, because I couldn't get to this, it was confusing for me. I was like, is the surgery going to work, or is this good enough? I was cramped up. I remember, see, again, they're harassing me while I'm doing this, so there was a lot going on in the mind, and I couldn't focus exactly on what I was doing. Masonry. So I remember being in a lot of pain sitting in my van going to Home Depot. And, one of them had followed me and all that. And then, they took off real quick. Didn't hang around. Just followed me in and then left. Right. Thanks, Larry. But I remember being in pain. So I know I had pain in Oklahoma. But I think at a certain point, the pain minimized. Right? Not that it was completely gone, and because it cramped up. And it cramped up in such a way that I could kind of walk and still get exercise. But I think the cramping is what minimized the pain, right? Because it couldn't send the signal. I mean, the devil's will enough and they get what they want. Well, if they can do an EMG test, which they might want to do, right? And just to see if it's also on that right. I know it's on the left. It came up positive before. Right. So what that does is that tells them that if they fuse the spine, then that leg will pick up again. Like if there was something wrong with the nerve itself, right? Like if it wasn't an impingement, there could be something wrong with the nerve. But when he tested it, he said, yeah, they just got to get that up, whatever it is, off of it, and then it'll fire back up. Kind of scary that it's been there for a while, but right. Again, that's another thing. I probably needed to do that as soon as possible. But it's not as weak as it was, though. At least I don't think it is. So again, this is serious stuff that they're interfering with, and they don't care, man. They kill people. They asked you to back off and let me have life for years, decades. Right. Thank you, Larry. Again, I told you, take my health, that the world's going to change, and it did, didn't it? Correct. And he was saying, well, I can use a catheter. And the pain management guy for the epidural. And I remember that's what Dr. Burrell used. Right. So that's what they should have used. Now, the one thing is Dr. Burrell we didn't discuss what was happening. Like you should be careful of this or careful of that. Right. Now, the fix may have been in that last time. Correct. So he wasn't supposed to tell me anything. Correct. If I would have received my socialization or social contact in the church, I'd have stayed in the church, you see. They wouldn't allow that. So I wouldn't have been in the gym. I kept thinking that I just want to be in the church and that's it. And I saw a couple women, but I never, because when they make them bait women, then you see them. So at that point, I didn't know whether they were real women. See, they shouldn't be doing this to people, especially somebody disabled. You don't know if they're real women or bait women. And again, I'm not going to attack anyone. Never attacked anyone in my life. I'm going to simply be nice and friendly, and if we start a friendship, maybe we'll get married someday. I mean, when I left the government, my actually attractability jumped up. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, but I'm making $36,000 a year for breathing. I was still healthy enough to work somewhere else if they hadn't done it. I would have loved to have been in that church and been an insider. But again, somebody came in and ruined it. I mean, it's at all costs. They try to put you out of that stuff. It was so weird. So I leave the church and I go to Starbucks. And I guess they started positioning people's places like that I might go after church, right? Because this person was definitely one of them. And I forget what he said, and it made no sense that he would say it to me. And I think sometimes that's all they want. The shock value that they're there and, they're going to mess up your life. Right. Right. Well, the way I see it, you leave a place, you have like one of four places you're generally going to go. You're going to go home, you're going to go to Walmart, you're going to go to Starbucks. They know where you're going to go, so they put people each one of those places. Right. Was that the wind? Oh, the wind's blowing off the Lord's cleaning off my van. Yeah, 4 years ago would have been much nicer. It's, especially when I got so I could walk, kind of, when I was more comfortable walking. It'd been nice to. When I left Amarillo, I had to. My health was so bad, and maybe it was the snow and all that, but it was, whew, I was through. Right. And I couldn't get much Weller and Tyler. And again, I started having this stomach issue and other things. And that's probably because I was cramping up. Now, I don't know what's triggering it now. Yeah, it could be autoimmune, some sort of autoimmune thing. Right. Again, it could be from Persian Gulf. Correct. I just don't even know how I'm going to navigate all that. I guess I could try to contact a couple hospitals to get the information. All I had to do was just let my life be, and it would have been nice enough. Didn't have to be rich, just would have had somebody with me, gone to church, did our charity. They just never just allowed anything to be. It's just insane. Not a single one of them had a right to take anything from me. They're all set up. I wouldn't even known anything. I left the government. I didn't know anything. Whoever came out after me after the government is the ones that did it. Right. I didn't know anything. I thought they just wanted me to leave government, and I found myself that it wasn't going to be safe to be in government for me or anyone else because I'll hesitate pulling my gun, that kind of thing. And that, at that point you can't stay in law enforcement. That's why I bring that up. Make sure your officers know when and when not to pull that gun out. Right. If they can't do that anymore, then they shouldn't be in government. They should find something else to do, retire, whatever it is. Right. No, some people pull it too soon. Some people pull it too late based upon PTSD or whatever it is. Again, they were giving me PTSD and panic attacks. Thank you, Larry. Well, I just wish I'd have did it 4 years ago. I'd have been younger. I think the experience of going through the surgery would have been easier. Right. Looking to the future would have been easier. Right. Well, that's still, 56 or whatever it will be. 100%. 56, 57. But there was also a concern. Again, the system itself, probably cooperated with what they were doing because I hadn't worked out my pain management yet. Right. 100%. And it didn't mean because I went to them that I would have worked it out. So I may have got my lumbar fixed, but couldn't figure out my back. Right. But then again, if I take it back, because if I could have got to them, I'd probably been more aware and awake, and then I could have figured the rest of it out too. Right. Because I would have eventually got massage and all that. Right. But we're here, and we're going to try to work that out, and hopefully I can get somewhere soon. Because I don't think I'll be able to get... My brother thinks, I don't naysay it, but, I've had this for quite a while now, and I don't think I'm going to get somewhere where I can comfortably walk across the earth right, without a fusion. And that's the bottom line. That's what it comes down to. Right. Now, there are drawbacks, but again, hopefully nothing too bad. Again, if I'd have done it 4 years earlier, I think I'd have been a little younger. I think healing would have been more realistic, fast healing, speedy healing, right? But we'll see. Again, it's going to warm up a little bit here in 5 days or so. Then I'll get outside and see how I feel. I've been in for a while, right? Yeah, I need to get my legs and my ankles and my feet massaged again. And, that's an area that might come around also. I only had that really seriously massaged once. So it'd be time to do it again, probably. So like anybody that's listening to me now has the information. So you know what to do to monitor their back. They know to watch their back, right? I really just rode my bike. That's what I was really into, but I I think I'd end up back in the gym just to talk to people, you know? All right. But again, they're cursing me and they're not. Like, finding a wife in itself puts you in a different mode. A lot of the, you know, going out shopping and hanging out. Right. No, after Angie, they weren't going to let me be with anybody because they knew how successful that was turning out to be. Right. And again, it's not the history they're looking for. Right there. So it's contrary to what they wanted to happen. It was like this kind of happened. Right. They couldn't stop it. Right. She actually picked me up, or a friend did. Right. I want you to meet somebody. That's how it happened. And they were a friend of the bass player of the band that was there that night. I think it scares them when I remember things. Well, if I guess it depends on how much inflammation decreases. And inflammation can decrease to the point that my legs could strengthen a little bit. Right. But the left one is still like weaker than the right and like lower. So I think that could actually cause some of the back problems. Like, what's irritating the back? Well, if your pelvis isn't, you know, straight, level, it could cause, right, irritation. Nah, they should have just let me be, and that was that. And nobody should be in Walmart texting the security lady and her husband and her kid from Ross as if I'm some sort of danger to them, right? And then that same person shouldn't be put into the extended stay I'm staying in, right? And then that woman shows up, you know, while I'm walking around the hotel just exercising to take her out of there, you know, like there's something going on, you know, right? You're right. We were investigating you. That's what it was. There are a lot of people using drugs in them places too, including the people who work there. You know, it'll take money to do anything, right? But I did an EMG and it said it was sitting on the nerve. Thank you, Larry. That is probably why. Actually, no, they didn't see that part, I don't think. Or did they? They must have seen it. Well, I was so sick there. I mean, I got pretty sick here, and I'm not doing the greatest. But oh God, was I sick? Because I hadn't been released at all. Everything was crunched still. It was horrible. Right. But my left leg is a lot weaker. The way whatever I did to release it, it itself was kind of like a peg leg, and now it's not as much like that. And there was this piece at the lower end of my lat that was just like cramped, and that I think was giving me gastritis and stuff. So I had to get rid of that. Right. And then that leg weakened. So it was really a false kind of thing going on for 4 years. And again, I know a lot of people in the Biden administration probably didn't like me. And, they had power to be devils. Or anti-power, should I say. They threw my life off for 4 years. Like, I read news articles. I don't know if anything's real. Like Susie Wiles this, Elon that. I mean, some of it's real, but some of it could just be, made up bullshit. Right. What's that there? Again, I could be reading a news article that I only read that nobody else sees. That's possible also, too. Yeah, they're trying to do the same thing they did inside to dissuade me from the surgery. I'm kind of knocking them out the best I can. Because they don't want me to heal. They don't want me to have a normal life. They don't want me to be able to sit at a computer desk and feel comfortable. And that's what my goal is. Or sit on a bicycle and ride bicycle a couple miles. Right. Thank you, Larry. Well, because they get paid money to do that. Plus, they're sickos in the head. See, I saw visions of me in his office, like mind's eye. They killed it. Right. I'm remembering back a little bit. I just couldn't get there. Right. And then I felt like I healed enough. See, I can't understand. When did I think I healed? It doesn't make sense to me because I still had pain. Right. I guess what happened is my left leg got stronger. Right. And again, they were saying just leave it cramped up. And, I probably should have never done that. Right. Not healthy at all. That's why my blood pressure would skyrocket from the cramping. But I guess, if she was right, see, I don't even know because the deep state's so crooked. But if that woman was honest at the surgery center, which I think she would be, my blood pressure was down. So it must have been uncramped a little bit. Right. But then it within a couple of days, it cramped up like crazy. Correct. Now, is it kind of getting sicker and sicker? Right. And then I went in for that gastritis guy. And then after that, I found this thing. It's still kind of weird. Still has a knot, but it's not totally cramped. So the left side, when it's actually relaxed, it's on the nerve, but it's not like there's no inflammation. It's just weak. I mean, there's a little, but not much. So the right side has still got something else going on because it would probably do the same thing. No, I'm almost sure that I probably should have did it 4 years ago because I think I have to do it now. I just, I needed to drive. I don't know what it would have gotten me driving east to the East Coast, but that's what I needed to do. Because they're in my head trying to keep me from there. They're making money doing this to me. That's what it comes down to. And they get off messing with me. So I can't believe Amazon actually delivered the phone case. It's amazing. I ended up with the army green one. I think I like it. I could return the other one, but I did an exchange. I feel it's fair. Right. That's a black one. Well, I was catching hell trying to order it. I would have ordered it a few days earlier. I just didn't I order it? I thought I had actually ordered it. So I'll be in bed because at midnight, I don't know if you know this on Amazon, at least on my Amazon, at midnight it flips. So I think what happens is it resets. So it sees some delivery windows open for the next day. You might, at 11:59, you might be looking at Thursday or Friday delivery on a Monday. Right. And then at midnight it resets and you look at some sometimes even early in the morning, but usually, by at least 2 o'clock in the afternoon delivery. I can't believe Amazon delivered. I can't believe it. Thank you, sir. So when you go and it resets, then you can order the thing, next day delivery. Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, it's already disappeared. Sometimes it goes to 10 in the morning. You get same day delivery. So the green one had same day delivery. Nah, going back through time and how well I got, it would have been better for me to have just head east. I guess I couldn't see it instead of moving into Oklahoma City and then get rid of my trailer like an idiot. Because I used an airbed and everything because I could just throw it away, Right. I just actually purchased a mattress. What a bummer. Like I said, if you paid me my money, I could, and I'm sure the Lord would pay you back. Then I could just hop in a moving truck. If I had enough money, I could, just get rid of my van, pay off that loan, and then buy something on the other side. Right. I mean, that's what should happen. I mean, there's no need for this to go the full course. I mean, you all can pay me, there's hundreds of millions of dollars to pay me with, right? Actually, billions. Thank you, Larry. I've done my best to not commit a crime with what they were doing to me. Jesus, I can just imagine all the people that end up committing crimes. Right. I mean, if they did that to someone else. I mean, really, you could just, VA could just go in there and audit. Again, the auditing. Just find that my case was denied improperly and reinstate it back to the, instate it back to the application date. Correct. That's what I was hoping that the senator could do. Right. Just do a congressional investigation into it. They wanted an ongoing case. My thing was, I believe I was improperly denied. So again, that would be just contacting Mr. Burton, I guess. I mean, come on, I'm owed. Everybody in the world knows I'm owed. It's weird because when I came out of the government, My roommate woman, she's from Italy. She was from Italy. She said, you know, you can go do this to get your money. So she's probably psychic a little bit. You know, she probably has an inside. And she's from, I think, a wealthy family in northern Italy, I think. That's what I think the whole thing was. I think she had a trust fund. Not a lot, but she was going to designer school or something in Miami. Miami School of Design or something. But she even said, out of the blue, she said, you can do this and you can get your money that way. Because she knows that, you know, she knew I was owed. And that's like 2005 or something. Maybe 6. I think 5. Thank you, Larry. Well, the system doesn't like when somebody's owed. I don't even have to say anything. It still messes stuff up. But at least God wants me to say something so you all can see a cause and effect so you'll stop. Right. And then pay me. Thank you, Larry. I'm not going to do anything wrong with the money. What am I going to do? I'm going to go get my life back in order and go relax and you know, try to do my spiritual stuff again. Right. Go get my surgery to make all that easier. Right. In fact, I could be out of here probably in less than a month, in a couple weeks. Right. 100%. Get rid of my van, give it to some charity, pay off the loan. It's like $1,000, $1,500 or something like that on it. Right. Probably less than that. Then I'll go pick up a big moving van. I'll hire a bunch of people. They'll move everything into the moving van, hire a cleaner, and I'll be out of here. And then I could actually afford to live in, you know, a clean extended stay. Right. In the Philadelphia area, near my brother. Right. It's going to be weird seeing him, but. Right. That when I did that, my goal was, and maybe I'll tell her, you know, maybe I'll contact Jenna just to say that's what you know. If that's not the process, then that's not the process. But my idea was for you to contact, you know, somebody in VA like Burton, and and you know, have them look to see if I was improperly denied. And of course, the answer should be yes, I was improperly denied. And then God would do like some quid pro quo. I mean, I find it so ludicrous. Oh, I'm so shocked. Quid pro quo. Like, why do you call that quid pro quo and not that quid pro quo? I said it years ago. I don't care if you make money. Right. Just don't hurt people. Correct. Because everything's quid pro quo. Correct. Well, no, the last time I never healed. Right. I was still cramped up and all that kind of thing. But I think a lot of the inflammation began to disappear. But I couldn't see it. You know, I would say it probably wasn't a good place to be. Right. I don't know. I think I was manipulated to move in here. Right. I think this is exactly the apartment they wanted me in. Right. Correct. Makes sense. Nah, that's where I made probably a major error, is renting that apartment. And I should have just pushed I just kept looking to my brothers. I'm like, how am I going to afford that? I don't even know why again, they willed me down. They did their stuff. Well, it's the easiest thing in the world. You think you got a trailer, you fill your stuff, you just drive east. But like, where am I going to stay when I get there at that point? The idea was I stay at my brother's, but and again, if devils didn't exist in the world, he'd have like some outside shed that was like a house, like a pool house or something that I could stay in. Right. I laid in bed a lot over those years. Right. And then eventually I got a little better and I started walking some more. Right. Mm. Well, I was in Oklahoma because I could afford it. And once it appeared my brother wasn't too keen on me coming out there. I was like, well, why do I pay $1,600 in Colorado? So I went to Oklahoma, and I really can't put my finger on why I moved into an apartment. I really can't. Correct. I mean, I wish I could have again, they just put all this crap on you. And again, when I'm online, it's not as much now, but they were hacking me and all sorts of stuff. And so there's things in there that are twisting your mind. Right. They made me like they try to make me a hypochondriac, and I'm like fighting that. Right. Well, because they're willing behind what you're reading sometimes. But again, sometimes it's just a general curse. And again, how it's all constructed. It makes it the psyop. 100% Larry. Oh, they're hacking everything I wrote. Just about. And like I'd fix it, the typo, and then by the time I posted it, the typo would be back or a different typo. I think at a certain point I could sleep well. I think that's why I felt comfortable. When you're tortured and you can't sleep and you have inflammation everywhere, and again, my left leg and my right leg, the difference in the two was much more pronounced. Right. No, I just think it would have been better, instead of leaving that bone on that nerve just to pull it off and right. That's generally how I would react to it. I couldn't get to it. Again, it was a very strong deterrent to get to it. I went to my rehab doctor, and there was a guy that had failed back surgery that was in a wheelchair from it. So again, the chances of that happening at Rothman are slim to none. Right. I think what they did is they tried to cut the bone. They were talking. One guy was talking about doing that with me, but I don't think that would stop the cramping because I would also need ablation or something. Right. He was talking about just cleaning it so it wouldn't be touching the nerve, right? Delaminating it or whatever it was, right? Instead of fusing it. If that one you can leave, they left particles in this guy's in the nerve area of the bone, and it killed the bone, killed the nerve somehow. I still don't. This still doesn't make total sense to me, right? They didn't flush it out good enough or whatever, but I don't know. It sounded a little outlandish myself. But I made a urine bag and everything. But I know the people dealing with me, that do this to me would have that capability, right? And we're talking about CIA level production. So again, I don't know if that was real or fake, but once I saw that, I kind of geeked my head out. And then I tried to forget about it. And then the doctor's like, well, I don't know. I just had a guy in here. And I know I saw him in his office, it's like, just a mess. Right. Going to Texas was the worst thing in the world. Who would have thought? I mean, they owed me. They still owe me. I got to get somebody to look at my legs and everything and see if one's shorter than the other from this or what's going on. Right. I could benefit from that also. I guess as a kinesiology person. Because that may be part of the problem that irritates everything. Because if your one leg is weaker and it's shorter or longer, right? So if that can level off, right? Because I can feel it now because I'm releasing everything. I can feel it like in this hip socket right here that it's starting to irritate. And again, I can't keep it like that because it's a lot weaker now because I released it. Right. And the right side is actually not as released as the left, but it's kind of released. Right. So again, it's not good to keep this like this. I can't believe I fell into that trap. But again, without like my brother at first was very accepting of it. And yeah, you'll go live in my basement. Right. So I said, what am I going to do? And I gave away everything. Because I figured I'm living in my brother's basement. I'll give him a few $100 a month or something. And then I'll get my money back up, Right. And believe me, some of this stuff I'm buying is just a reaction to what they're doing to me. And I think they know that. Right. They're trying to gain control over my life, normalcy. Yeah, I can't replace the 4 years either. Well, it's just again, something keeps saying something, questioning about Elon Musk, and it's saying the problem is that I don't think we're going to prevail. Again, there are certain irregardless of what Elon does, we could prevail if the justices take a certain point of view, and I think that's what they're banking on. But I don't know if that's going to be true. Okay. Thank you, Larry. So again, it's kind of sad to get to this point and look back. Oh my God, what did I do? Why didn't I just? Why didn't I just go to Philadelphia? Oh, geez, right. But again, I was pretty heavily operated, and I could have been drugged. But their operations are psychoactive. They do things in your mind like a drug, right? Again, Project Artichoke type stuff. You're trying to get me to hate this green case. I don't think it's neat. Again, I hope I get to a point where I can lay down comfortably. That's the worst part, right? Which is another point. If the surgery could afford that, that would be nice, right? And it probably would have. Well, if I lay a certain way, it triggers the tightening of the back. Now, the question is that inflammation in the back or is it the lumbar? I guess we'll find out. So hopefully this guy can get me to a point where it's more comfortable. Well, my back, I think my back found a way to wire me so I could walk a little easier. But I think I felt overly confident of that. And I think it was several factors that caused that, to include the psychological operation. So in other words, it was easier if I did certain things. Right. Like for my brother too. I think it was just easier for him not to think about me coming there. That's why they're not supposed to be allowed to stalk people. I know my brother knows they exist. He might not admit it. I got him to talk about it. When I first got out of the government, right away, God had me enter into some sort of conversation with him. And what they make him believe, because he's succeeding, right, is it's better that these people exist. That way only good people have, or something like that. Right? Somebody's watching everybody. But you have to understand, it's the same people that would use the USAID program for what it's being used for. Now, some of it's legitimate. So we're hurting the Kansas farmers. And, again, we're getting into that same thing again. So even with you're going to pay all the tariffs to the farmers again, right? Well, that's why we have some of these programs, because they end up paying us back in the long run, right? Or at least partially, and keep people employed and all of that. It's just they piggybacked on all that, and it ruined the totality of the program, or portions of the program, and now you're killing it as totality. Well, apparently USAID, we fund grain sales or grain shipments overseas, and that keeps our farms going. Now these are people that supported Trump. I mean, they're like the conservative people, not the middle of the road people. So again, you got to understand, Democrats are finding inside power from people that normally would not support them, because they're like, that MFer. Right. Nah, it's kind of scary at my age to have to go for this surgery, but I missed the boat 4 years ago. The only thing that was sad, I didn't have a pain management guy like I do now, and I couldn't think to get back to massage because it was just so painful. I didn't feel like doing it again, and I don't even know why not. I guess all of the years of all the abuse around massage, right? Now, obviously, I should have never left Oklahoma. If I'd have waited a few more months, I'd have been there, and that would have been it, right? I was in a place where I really could trust the majority of the people that worked there. I could never get back to that. And they would do stuff like this to me. Like I'd say to the manager of the place down there, hey, I'm thinking of moving down to your place. The price came down, and the price would go right back up. I don't know if she'd tell somebody or they had a camera installed or what, right? Like I wouldn't have stayed at that particular Woodspring Suites ever. I would have moved right down to Norman, right, very swiftly. And then I guess I should have talked to her and tried to get a rate. Right, I just couldn't get to it again, willing me down. I liked my room down there. I liked the location. Right. Before I was injured, of course. Beyond a certain point, I'm sure it was starting, and I did get achy that before I left Oklahoma, but I was still walking and it wasn't all this pain. So again, you know, I think the major mistake was I didn't move off to Philadelphia 5 years or 4 years ago. Right. I mean, that was my plan, and I don't know. I couldn't think of it. I couldn't like push myself to do it. I kept looking for places to stay. I couldn't afford them. Again, in Oklahoma, I put in for an increase in my disability. If I'd have gotten the increase, most likely I would have moved off to it. But the whole thing would have been different with even just a few hundred more dollars. Right. And again, if I'd not been harassed in massage, it would have been way better. Right. Let me see. Like snowfall accumulation, Overland Park, Kansas. Trying to see what we have out there. Just city has got something here. Oh, I guess they're not putting. Let me see. What's the date on this one? That's 2022. They're still saying 2 to 4. I thought it was over 4. I just didn't feel like going out there. Right. Actually, I know what to do. Let me get me a stick. No, because I don't have to go out to my vehicle. I could just go, even though it's freezing and I'm in shorts. Something. These things are life changers. I mean, they just stayed in my life. And again, yeah, I saw in places that they weren't, but that's the goal. It isn't like it's something wrong with me. It's what the program is designed to do. Right. Well, because I saw them. I started running some of their plates. But I couldn't make heads or tails of it. I knew they existed. Right. Oh, shit. Right. I'm not going to chase after them. Right. And then I would like, I'd kind of do it. Sometimes I wouldn't go to where they live, but I drive by the community just to see who showed up around me. Right. I don't think I ever went to any other houses or anything. Well, actually, one time they visited our church. The preacher and I went out on visitation. And it was one of the people that was following me. Right. But again, it was obviously some sort of setup. Right. Not sure if John was dead yet when that happened. I mean, it's sad because you can't live your life when they do this, right? I would have loved to have lived my life and just, I loved Bible study. I loved, I could have found a woman if they had, well, you can't when they do this because, like, you go online, they're online. I thought I'd go online and I'd be free, but almost gets worse. Right. Yeah, they're willing in around it because that almost gets worse came up as inference. Almost gets worse, and so it doesn't mean it means it doesn't actually get worse, but they tried to put fear around it. So again, when they will with the spells, the psychic inferences get kind of screwy. Right. So like my back almost gets worse if I get surgery, almost, which means it doesn't get worse. Right. So God kind of reversed it. All right, it's cold out here. Let me see if I can get the measurement. Looks pretty deep to me. Right. Let's see where we are. Oh, I guess that's only about 4 foot, right? I mean, 4 inch. Yeah, it's. I guess it's 1 to 4 inch, unless I'm not reading it right. Ooh! Can't believe it's that cold out there, and I'm not really cold. Yeah, I went down quick. I scheduled surgery, and I haven't been well since. Right. Correct, Larry. Hopefully, they didn't do something to cause it. Or they can drug you and make you all irritated and inflamed, right? I'm trying to find I was looking for a tape measure earlier and yesterday, I think, too. Trying to find my tape measure. Oh, here it is. God just guided me to it, or a spirit, an angel or something. Because I almost fell over it. It's so funny. Yeah, so at the most we got 3 inches, I guess. Right. I'll take my tape measure out there and use it. No, it's how I almost tripped over it. It was like really weird. So I know it's a spiritual type of thing. All right, let me look here. Yeah, it's about 3 inches, it says. I go over here. Yeah, it looks like 3 inches. I thought it was deeper because it keeps coming down. It looks like it's deeper on my car. I don't know. No, it's like 3 inches at the most. I thought it was deeper. Looks deeper. Yeah, it's like 3 inches. Not all that much. It'll go pretty quick. Woo! Woo! Cold out there. At least I got some of my resiliency to the cold back. No, I was like dying out in the cold. I'm like, flounder! I just went outside in t-shirts and shorts. What's the temperature? 5 degrees? I think mine's actually warmer than this. It's probably like 3 degrees, right? Thank you, Larry. No, it's just sad. I mean, and if you think about it, if I could have got to Philadelphia, even if I didn't do the surgery, I'd be there. I'd have time to relax. And with my family there, I may have been able to get to additional, modalities. Right. Well, they were breaking in, and I knew that. So being in my brother's basement made sense to me. Either they're going to stop or we're all going to go down together. You got to pay me. I'm just going to keep saying that until the Lord destroys everything you all have. Because I think sometimes that I'm like making Elon mess up by saying pay me, because he may be one of the ones that owe me. And of course he does. The question is, does he directly know that they stole the stuff I don't say it's stole, but I gave suggestions. You should take care of my life. Right. 100%. Now he's out there. Elon's out there. And the co-president thing, you did an interview in front of Hannity with the president and co-president. They're like a split personality. Nah, he should have let me just go. I mean, come on. Right. They tried to force me into all sorts of sex and sex crime. Believe me, it's been. I mean, that just wears you out. All right. So again, when the Lord evaluates all of this, part of it is what you had to go through. What you had to come up, what you came against, not to be something like a sinner. Right. Oh. So like you people that are rich, you had spoon-fed lives. I mean, it's easy to be. Most of you are criminals anyway, but well, Elon's making a mess. He really is. I mean, yeah, he's kind of doing it, but it could be cleaner. Correct, Larry. Right. Somebody's saying that as far as the wound being clean, you could actually have said that to your surgeon, and your surgeon would have been like, hey, don't do what I saw there. Your surgeon would be like, no, I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to really clean it really good. And then your surgeon will make sure he flushed it double, Right. See, that's how you take care of that. See, now I got the answer. But I should have they blocked the answer years ago. Right. Well, you take it up with your surgeon and say, hey, I just saw a guy and he's not walking, and they didn't clean they cut through some stuff and they didn't clean it, and go, no, I won't do that, I'll clean it. And then when he gets in the surgery room, he double cleans it. Right. No, last 4 years, terrible. I should have been like with my brother or something. Right. Again, something was in Dallas for me. I mean, I messed it up. It may have been a woman. Well, I was kind of attracted to one Latina. I don't know if she's married or not. She's older, like I would. She's a cleaning lady. Right. I gave her some bins when I left. Like, had to empty out the van. I mean, the trailer, because it's too heavy. If I had a pickup truck, I wouldn't have had to do that. The thing about the deep state is they watch everybody. So, in a situation, so if women are interested in me, they'll know about it. They'll work about ruining that. Even before I get to meet a woman. Oh, right? Actually, I just got the other message. Even if she wasn't free, if she's from Central America, she'll find you somebody. Right. They all know somebody wants to get married to America. That's how I was. Yeah, that's why I really went. One of the reasons I chose New Mexico, I went to marry a Latina woman. No, they're crazy. Everybody I speak to, I don't want to marry every woman I speak to. I want to have sex with every woman I speak to. Actually, I want to have sex with the woman I marry. Hey, Larry. What went on online, it was something completely different. Right. Mostly an investigation. I tried to marry some cam girls if I could. Right. But I mean, you got to understand it does affect your psychology. So you become needy. So you're just wanting any of them, one of them, to say, yeah, let's get married. I mean, I was isolated, man. I tried to explain it to my brother. I think it was an overload on him, but that's okay. Right. But he's doing the same thing now he did before. Kind of shuts down. Right. He's got something on one of his legs already getting screwed up. It's from the running. I knew it. I think I told him to walk. I can't remember if I told him that or not because it's less bombastic on the back. Right. That's what it's from. I bet him running every day. It wasted one of his discs. Right. But of course, he's had a gentler life. Yeah, if I lost weight, it may be a little easier on my legs. I did gain some extra weight. That could be part of it too, I guess. I guess the biggest risk is pain at the fusion site. Right. I think some of that also would be environmental. I kind of hindsight being 2020, I should have moved into Arizona. I was looking at a house too when I was in Arizona. I was close, but it was just like I felt like it was 10 or 15,000 too much for my above my max. But again, the way my life worked, it probably would have been fine because I ended up wasting a lot of money with all the shit that happened. Right. Yeah, I was in Arizona. A house came up that was, like a foreclosure. I don't remember what it was, but it was something like that. Right. But a nice house. It was like 185 or something. Of course, now it's like 485. Right. It was like 2013 or 14. 2013 probably. Hmm. A nice house. I was close to moving into an apartment in Arizona. Probably should have did it. I actually I was still a little bit off and I wasn't sure. Right. But I was pretty much feeling good in Arizona because the massage therapist lady that I found was pretty good. Thanks, Larry. But I really think like the finished heel came when I went to that winter in Santa Fe. Like whatever it was causing the issue kind of disappeared. And again, my massage therapists were great in Santa Fe also. I just was surprised by this thing. And I'm like, if there was something wrong with my behavior, why didn't you tell me there was something wrong? And I said, by the way, your people were acting strange. I was pushing through because I needed massage. So I don't know what's going on there. Right. I said, I do keep connectivity. I look at people in the massage setting. I've actually now I kind of don't. I do the complete opposite because I'm so freaked out. I have conversation. I look and watch. And, right. I was never so, I mean, I was so happy. I was just like, my massage therapists were so into it. I don't remember the one woman's name. She's Mexican descent. I was like when she left, that's when it went stupid. And then she came back, but I never got back to being her customer, I don't think. Like one time I did. Right. Then she kind of but she was, I mean, like I didn't even like touch her or anything. I didn't do anything to her. And she was like all over me because what she's doing is trying to stretch me. So we're like, I kind of put my head this way, she puts her head the other way, and she presses to stretch my leg. But we're like entwined half the time. Thank you, Larry. And I didn't touch her. I mean, if I'm going to touch anybody, it'd be her. She's like right there, and she's gorgeous. She had her kid, and she was married, and that was it. But I told her, you're like a great woman. I was like, I'd marry you in a second. Oh my God. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have sex with you in a second. Right. Yeah, he's great personality, beautiful face. Right. Thank you, Larry. But I don't take it from me because, like, I was told once that people I think are beautiful are only like marginally cute. Like women I think are beautiful. But to me, she was beautiful. And I was just like, I could have found a woman like this in my life. She's a massage therapist on top of it. Thank you, sir. I mean, there's what somebody told me in massage, or not, I mean, in physical therapy, that when you stop moving, that's when you get in trouble. Like, physically doing stuff. And they got me to stop doing that. Right. Like I used to go to the gym and go to massage and do the massage beds. At a certain point, I just had it. I didn't want to go to that gym anymore. I mean, because like this one girl would always be in my vision. And one day I said hi to her, and then like everybody in the gym they didn't pounce on me, but it's like a psyop, I was like, ah. And then like the woman that cleans that cleans the apartments there, and she's a gorgeous woman. And she's Spanish. She like comes in and cleans apartments after people move out. Right. She comes with her kids, I guess. Right. Or maybe other women, I don't know. Like younger women. And she shows up in the gym, and I'm like, and she's like staring at me, but talking to some other guy. And I'm like, because that's how they do it. Like they try to do a cuck scenario. It's like weird. And like it's messed me up over the years because they try to do that cuck thing all the time. Right. I don't know what their angle is, but did the same thing with the woman in the office at where I stay. She ended up in my gym, and she was some guy, and it's supposedly the guy is supposedly her husband, but I meet her husband later. Right. I don't think they set it up like that on purpose. Right. It wasn't that guy. Probably an investigator or something. He reminded me of the guy that I saw in TJ Maxx go into the security room, so I don't know. Right. I'm sorry. I mean, I was still well then. They should have just let me, have my life, right? Physically well, at least. I had a lot of stress fractures from all their stress. I knew I needed to get out of what they were doing to me and get to a woman, and then I would heal. I knew that. But I knew, over time it would take its toll. So I had to get out, and they wouldn't stop. And like the scripture tells you to get to a woman, and then, you can better effectuate that Christian life. Yeah, I guess it's 3 inches and nothing more. Came out and tried it again. Woo, chilly out here. But it doesn't feel that cold. Sometimes snow does that, right? I don't know what it is, the snow factor. Oh, that felt good actually, which is a good sign. Right. All right. Yeah, it says 2 to 4. Looks like over in Missouri, some of them got even less than that. 0 to 2. Lee Summit looks partially at least 0 to 2. It's just because it's been coming down all day. I figured it was must be like microparticles coming down. I guess it is. It's just kind of it's a blowy snow. But already blew off of my windshield. Thank you, Larry. She got a correction stripe from Nook. Well, you have to understand something, and you're not paying attention to what I said, and I don't know if anybody can hear me or it gets passed on. Certain things might not get passed on. Uh, certain things cost us more money. So like you can show that we're saving money, but in the long run we're going to pay more money. Okay, what's this Social Security thing from us? Well, just if you find people that are alive when they're probably dead, that's a bad thing. But did the system actually was there fraud on it? Right, that's you got to look at. Again, you have to make your case on a lot of this stuff. Like if you're going to take it to court for some reason. Well, I hate to see the effort, the good part of the efforts fail. Well, because if you you reverse the polarity on the voter, then within 2 years something happens, right? And then 2 years after that, it's going to happen again. And then everything you've done is not completely for naught, but right. Well, you said that inflation is because the government is spending too much money. So you're going to cut the money and inflation will go away. Well, inflation isn't going away. So again, uh, course, they're already calling it Trumpflation. Like I said, if I could get some easy relief laying in bed, which might happen once this guy gives me the steroids, all right, we'll see. Then it'll be feel a little better. Yeah, I should have asked the pain management guy if he wanted to do an EMG. Right, I get him on both legs. They did EMGs before I left Naples, and they said it looks fine. He asked me if I had pain down my left leg because it looks like something's getting close on that side, and I said no. But again, when I left Naples, I got probably a little more space in that because I got massaged out a lot better. Right. But like, I didn't have it explained to me. I had no idea how this all worked. Right. Mm. And the last thing I needed to do was go to Yogi Bhajan people and have them not be real. And if they would have talked to me about something, I'd explain it to them. Right. No, I don't have sex. You like people in Yogi Bhajan's, but of course, part of it's a sex cult now. But it was revealed. But like, even if it was a regular society of people, they would actually have had more sex with more partners than me because I've only had 3 partners except being molested as a kid. Right. My whole life. Now, again, there was some cam stuff, but it wasn't all that much. Right. I had conversations mostly with people. They, well, I need money. I want to go see my mother. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Same thing as as Santa Fe. I need money. Thank you, Larry. Yeah, I was trying to ascertain whether they were in bondage. I think she did go see her mother, but I think she had to return. It was one of those deals, right? Because she disappeared. Right. So she was probably like in a contract at a sex cam place in Colombia, and we just had conversations, and she asked me for some money. I think I sent it Western Union, right? Another one, she needed a phone because somebody mugged her and got her phone. Sent her money. Thank you, Liz. In Medellin. The other one, I don't know where she was, but she said, I want to go see my mother, and I need this much money. I sent it to her. I don't know if her pimp got a cut or not, but she did disappear for like a few days. Probably spent a weekend at her mother's. And then I go back to the pimp. I was still kind of investigating that when I think I was investigating that stuff partially, and then I think I got injured or something like that. Right. Or I think I can't remember. I can't remember timing on everything. Something happened. I never finished the investigations. I did figure out that a woman that said she was in Poland wasn't in Poland because she held up a $5 bill, a U.S. $5 bill. Then there was this Russian woman that said she was in Pampa, Texas. I'm like, yeah, right. Thank you, Larry. KGB. But so ludicrous, like everything. Right. Obviously, you can do this, you can do that. Like, oh, that's Quid Quo Pro. Well, what is it? Okay. Let's get real. What is it? Right. What person's over there sexual? Well, let's get real. Who is it? Just because you're protected by the deep state or something similar doesn't mean that you didn't do it. So it gets pretty ludicrous, right? When you apply false standards. That's why I'm like, when Trump gets off the hook, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Right. Thank you, Larry. Just be careful with them paralleling the narrative and then shifting it. Thank you, Larry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't even get like, these people were great. They were like taking my arms and massaging my arms out, my wrists. I mean, they kept me healthy as all get out, these massagers. But I have no idea why they meddled. Right. So the one woman they said was an innocent 19-year-old. I don't know, maybe she was. She looked like about 27 to me. And when she would walk out at night, I'm like, she's going to the bar to get drunk or go have sex with her boyfriend. She's lying. Oh, my God. Even that one woman, I don't think she was, 21 or some shit like they told me. Right. I was just trying to smooth that over. I hate when people get freaked out because somebody says something to them. So I try to introduce myself and give them a card and saying, this is who I am. Right. Well, because it has metaphysical stuff on it and they might see me wiggle my finger or something. Right. I try to explain that to them. That's a healing gesture. But they know that, so they take advantage of that. Well, I just wish I was, they just would have stopped so I could have lived some life with somebody. Right. Again, they're too busy trying to make me gay. What's your government doing today? Making people gay. How much money did they spend on making people gay? Did you find that, Elon? Matter of fact, a couple of those programs look like that. I'm trying to look at the strength of my ashwagandha here. I don't know. I mean, it was just, I should have in my 40s, should have been allowed to meet somebody. Right. It just makes sense. It's weird in Naples. I never. Oh, I did go to a church once. I went to that one. It wasn't. It was one of the the Unitarian. It just didn't have the right feel. Right. If I probably didn't would have did good, and if I could have got the Rick Scott's church, that'd have been good, right? Because he'd have maybe took care of me for once, right? But I never saw that church while I was there. Saw a couple big ones, but again, there's no way for them to know what's actually going on in their church when it's that big. Be infested with CIA. No, I went there. Like I wanted to go to California, and I wanted to live that life there, right? With the yoga and the beach, right, and the gym. But I was slowly drifting away from the gym and spending most of my time in yoga. Right? And I was doing that yin yoga, and boy, your body just melts. I mean, it was actually some of the best yin yoga practitioners, I would say, in the country. I mean, it's just like a secret, right? Like Friday nights, that's what I would do. I'd like go to yin yoga, and you just melt into the pose. You come out of there high as hell because your body's just so loose and limber. Right? We had this woman that used to come in there, and like within like 15 minutes, she was snoring. So you'd be doing your pose, you'd be like, but that's what it felt like. It was so good. I wish they could have let me live that life again. But anybody that would have welcomed me in, were cautioned, right? Well, because the people that were running it, they would tell them stuff, but in the real world, without being told stuff, they'd be like, "Hey, you look different, right? Come be part of our thing." No, they actually have to they have to pull you in. Right? I can't make entry because again, I'm cursed also. Right. It just got real stupid, and that's when I left. I'm like, nah. I got like a parking ticket because you have to move your vehicle in Venice like every Thursday, or they give you a ticket. Right. I got one of those tickets. I'm like, yeah. And I knew something was slipping when I got one of those. They'd already stolen my yoga mat, like $100 one. It was a nice one. Now I know it's them. Tried to steal my laptop, but the dude everybody in the house went after him. I felt loved. They returned my laptop to me. Probably an agent. And then when I was returning from, I was already planning to leave. I was returning from an Indian, like I went to the city. It was down by Compton. I forget what it's called. Maybe Alhambra or something. I can't remember. But it's a bunch of Indian furniture stores and stuff, and Indian restaurants from India. And I went there just to look at all the furniture and wood carvings from like southern India. And there was a Shiva temple there. I didn't go to the Shiva temple. I just went to eat, and then like the monks or whatever from the Shiva temple came in, and they had that crazy hair and stuff. Right. I used to go to the Hare Krishna temple and look at their stuff for sale. They had some great deals there. Right. One of the things I messed up, I was supposed to buy a Nataraj at the Krishna temple, and in Culver City and then transplant it into the temple at Miami. Hashem told me that's one thing I missed. He needed that moved from there to there. Like donate it. Right. That was like my next stop, Miami. Like that one guy that was that monk at the Krishna temple in Miami, he ended up passing on shortly after I left there. He had some sort of ailment. Right. Like it was weird because they were trying to like do that. You know, the spells were trying to get us to hate each other. So I was on my bike, and for some reason, him and I almost collided. But like when it happened, I shook his hand. Like I dispelled whatever energy it was. Right. It was just bizarre. Right. But he was great at you know, street chanting. Right. Like the planet, like we're human here, and the planet's actually wired backwards. Right. Because once you leave here, it's over. You're in a better life. Right. It's like leaving basic training in AIT and, you know, getting to the real army, I guess, kind of. Right. It's just for me, it's like very difficult. And I'm an angel, and you know, I understand why Satan would try to make it weird for me. Well, because you don't live your life, and then one day you're going to pass. It's bizarre. Like these people just closed everything, allowed nothing. All the rest is just stuff that I could get to, right? Regardless of what they were doing. But they don't allow that either, and it really isn't much. So I could have been simple. I just wanted a woman, and that's it. Right? And they go to religion, and that's it. You got to wonder, like Hashem's saying in my head, something like that. See, something like that would have happened if I would have stayed long enough. See, my mother should have figured that out. Like, get me involved with a rabbi or something, right? And then he would have said, you know, let's go to the yeshiva or something. And my right leg is kind of weird. I guess because this isn't really the perfect thing. Yeah, 2.5, 3 inches. Right. It's really not that cold out here. I mean, I wouldn't want to stay out there in my shorts. No, they allowed nothing. I'll tell you that. If I got somewhere, it's because, you know, I was able to get there, or it was a setup, you know. Right. Moved to a new community and they're all in place, already paid. Right. There's nothing really on this planet worth a shit. There really isn't. You do your time here and then move on. Right. It's really a prison planet. You're trapped in this body. Yeah, if I could comfortably lay in the bed, I wouldn't be, you know, griping all that much. I mean, I wouldn't want to lay all day, but at least I could do my work, you know, from a bed. So what I'm trying to do is get to that point, if I can, before the surgery, right? At least somewhat. The steroid might do that. Right. This actually says it's 2 degrees here. If that's 2 degrees, well, that's just weird. It says, over here it says 5 degrees. Right. And then I go over here and now it says 2 degrees. Let me go to one of the other apps. Saying the total is going to be 4 to 8 inches. What are we going to hit a heavy things in? I have to look. Yeah, it's saying it's 3 degrees right now on AccuWeather. No, I get mad like when I went to massage, I'm sure. Like that modern, he don't deserve that. I actually deserve more than that. I tried to live a wholesome life the best I could. They wouldn't let me get to the rest of it. Right. Well, it's just like everything's quid pro quo, you know? Really is. I'm going to try to lay here and see if I can get some semblance of comfort without triggering something else. My legs are getting stiff from being on my legs, feet all day. It says it's going to end 1 a.m. Wednesday. Where's the radar? I don't see it being that. Well, because it looks like by 8:20 it moves off. Let me see if there's another piece to it. Yeah, you know, my brother should try to get that one stiff section of his leg massaged because he doesn't do massage. You know, anybody could get a like a Charlie horse type of thing that sticks around, especially when you get older, right? Yeah, it's showing that it's going to be by 8:20. Majority of it's going to move off. Right. I don't think it's going to get any harder. Just there it is, 8:20. It's just that little piece back there. And by 8:50, that's it. Unless it might be another piece there. Let me take a moment. Yeah, pretty much looks like it by 8:50. Okay, so Help Not Harm Act. So there should be another component. Right. Oh my gosh. Well, again, I personally believe that some of the issue, and this is the weird part, right? They may need light doses of birth gender hormones. So I don't know how we can get, if we can, it's kind of weird because we went against hormones, right? Oh, well, how can we, alternative treatments? Right. All right, I'll be back in a bit. Stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.